What's the worst customer you've dealt with? I ruined the guy's marriage cause he thought he was better than me, so I went and destroyed his wife. Several years ago I was bartending in a ski town at a Ritz-Carlton. It was spring break and we had a ton of wealthy university students staying in our hotel. One of the bellmen, who was also one of my roommates, we'll call him Bob, waved me over. He pointed out one of the guys at my bar, we'll call him Jim. He'd said he used to work with him at the, different and in another state, Ritz. For anyone wondering, it's really common to stay at other hotels when you work for Ritz/Marriott. They have an awesome employee room rate discount. He went on to tell me how much of a dockhead Jim was. I understood why Bob described Jim the way he did pretty quickly. He was tipping me 25 cents every other drink and just obnoxiously full of himself. I was blessed to have this incredibly witty conversationalist, in his mind, at my bar. I was hanging on his every word when he said I'm going in, as he slipped his diamond-crusted wedding ring off and approached a girl, we'll call her Lucy, sitting at the end of my bar. I heard Lucy say she didn't ski and that her friends ditched her and were in the village for après. She was clearly upset, but probably a little overdramatic as Lucy could have easily taken a free shuttle to the village. She was almost in tears when she'd ordered her first Cosmo from me, leaving a credit card to start a tab. I worked my incredibly busy shift feeding Jim and Lucy drinks, while now getting tipped 25 cents for every 4 drinks, in between them making out like high school freshmen. The bar then completely cleared out at about 12:30 a.m. We legally had to close at 2 a.m., except these two who I've served a little more than I would have if they didn't have rooms just upstairs. Since they were the only two left and I didn't feel comfortable serving them anymore, especially her, I gave last call. This is when shot hit the fan. Jim lost it and I continued to hold my ground, even adding a few quips about how I'd so missed the extra 75 cents I'd be missing out on. He started yelling at me and explaining how he was a big wig, he was head bellman, not even a supervisor, with the Ritz, and that he'd have my job. He demanded to speak to my manager. I told him the manager was at the front desk. They stormed out. That's when I noticed his phone on the bar. I picked it up and touched the screen. Sweet, it wasn't locked out. Went into messages and saw he just texted someone, I love you and I miss you so much. I looked at the texts and quickly determined this was his wife. I went into the information and wrote down, we'll call her Annie, Annie's phone number. My manager came around the corner asking me to come talk to him, and they returned to their bar stools. My manager asked me if I felt comfortable serving them one more, saying it was totally my call as he thought they were on the verge. I said sure, knowing that I had a bullet in the chamber if Jim continued to be a dick. Of course Jim continued to be a doc. When I returned to them and said I could serve them one more, he said, you'll serve me however many more I want, unless you want me to go have another word with your manager. No tip this time, and Jim just continued to talk shot in between making out with Lucy the whole time I was cleaning. When they finished their drinks he of course tried to order one to go, which I refused. This started a huge explosion on his part, more talking to the manager, resulting in him finally conceding, but not before telling me he'll be talking to the general manager the next day and I'll be jobless. Right before I left for the night I made a phone call from the bar office phone to Annie's number. It was almost 2 a.m. which made it 4 a.m. where she lived, but she picked up. Hi, is this Jim? Annie says no, this is his wife, he's in. I interrupted her and spoke fast. Oh, hi Lucy, I didn't know you two were married, but that sure explains the epic makeout session. And you two practically running to your room. Well, you left your credit card down here at the bar, sorry to interrupt. Do you want me to just put 18% on it and leave it at the front desk for you? There was a long pause and then just a yes, that will be fine before she hung up. Jim, if you read this, haha. Also, nice try, but you never did get me fired.